An American national here in the Philippines arrested for exploiting really young girls?
Just call. That's not anything. Let me just call. Let me just call my lawyer.
What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about a story that honestly sat heavy with me after I read it. And it's one of those situations where you don't need dramatic words for it to matter. This involves a foreign national, an American, online platforms, and young Filipinas here in the Philippines. But before we get into it, if you enjoy real discussions or expat news or just news in general in the Philippines, hit that like button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It lets YouTube know that people love these kinds of discussions. So today I want to talk about what's been officially reported and confirmed by authorities, and also how this kind of story hits you if you've lived in the Philippines long term and know the culture and know how online spaces actually work in real life here. Because this isn't just a news story, it's one of those cases that exposes uncomfortable realities about trust, digital platforms, and how quickly situations can shift once someone thinks they're getting an opportunity. So let's hop into the story, guys.
Let me just call. That's not anything. Let me just call. Let me just call my lawyer. Bro, let me just call my lawyer. I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm not fighting. My phone is right here.
This is a process. We will inform first your rights, okay?
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, we are police officers from PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group. I am Patrolman Nihiyas and here is our team leader, Police Captain John G. Barbo. You are being arrested for violation of Section 4A and E of RA 9208. You listen! Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2003 as amended by RA 10364.
Okay.
2003 as amended by RA 10364 expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2012 and further amended by RA 11862 expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2022 in relation to Section 6 of RA 10175, otherwise known as the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, and Section 4C1, Cybersex as defined under the Republic Act 10175. You have the right to remain silent. Any statement you make may be used for or against you in any court of law in the Philippines. You have the right to have a competent and independent counsel, preferably of your own choice. If you cannot afford the services of a counsel, the government will provide one for you. You have the right to demand physical examination by an independent and competent doctor of your own choice. If you cannot afford the services of a doctor, the state shall provide one for you. Do you understand these rights? Answer. Do you understand these rights?
No, I don't.
You don't understand? Okay, I'm going to read
I
again
think
your
I need to
rights.
call my lawyer in order to understand. My phone is right there.
Okay, you listen first before talking to your lawyer, because
to understand, I have to call my lawyer.
you must have understand first before calling your lawyer. Okay, you should understand your
My
rights.
lawyer probably would understand. I don't
But
understand.
but before you call your lawyer, you should understand.
But I
these
don't
rights.
understand. I don't understand. I
You
do
don't
not
understand that you have the
No.
right to remain silent.
Because you are not listening.
Because you are not.
According to the National Police and Anti-Cybercrime Group, an American citizen 27 years old was taken into custody in Batangas, specifically in Nasugbu, following an operation carried out at the end of January. This wasn't random. Authorities said they were acting on a lawful warrant that allowed them to search a residence and examine electronic devices and online data connected to the case. The operation was the result of weeks of coordination after a report was filed earlier this year. That's the part that matters, because this wasn't something that authorities just stumbled across. It came from someone finding a way out or speaking up. Now, according to the police and how they explained it, the initial contact reportedly happened through dating apps. And I want to pause here because I don't want to judge and not to blame, but just to be real, dating apps are normal here in the Philippines. People meet on them every day, locals, foreigners, pretty much everyone. So when authorities explain that things started that way, it doesn't raise any red flags immediately. That's what makes the situation a bit more complicated. Now, according to the report, after communication and trust were built, in-person meetings followed. And it was only later that authorities say that the situation took a very different turn. Police stated that what was presented was a so-called modeling opportunity. Promised earnings were mentioned, amounts that for many young people, especially here in the Philippines, can sound life-changing. And this is where I want to add my personal take. When you live here long enough, you understand how offers like that can feel less like a risk and more like hope, especially when they come from someone who already earned trust. And for a lot of people that come from humble backgrounds, it's not like an ignorance factor. That's just part of the human nature. Authorities allege that once the individual arrived at the residence, her ability to leave freely became restricted. And no matter how you rephrase that, that's where this story becomes deeply uncomfortable. The anti-cybercrime group explained that multiple young women were allegedly involved and that online live stream platforms played a role. These platforms operated using virtual coins, digital rewards that viewers sent, which can later be converted into income. Police estimate that each session generated several thousand pesos. That stood out for me from the official briefing, that it wasn't the platform itself, but how officers described the emotional environment. They talked about fear, pressure, and repeated warnings. Not willingness, not excitement, but fear. One officer even mentioned that the individuals didn't even want to participate, but felt they couldn't say no. And this is the part that really stuck with me, because authorities didn't describe this as physical force in the traditional sense. They described something quieter, but sometimes more powerful. It was like a psychological pressure that they described. Conditioning, grooming, the feeling that maybe something bad would happen if you didn't comply. If you've ever been in a situation where someone slowly tightens control over your choices, you know how hard it can be to even explain it afterwards. That's why I think it's important that this story is handled carefully. Not turned into clickbait, not stripped of context, but for someone that actually cares. According to police, one woman eventually managed to leave and return to her family late last year. After some time, she reported what happened to authorities, which led to the operation in January. Another detail that stood out was that one of the others reportedly tried to reach out for help as well, but was allegedly discouraged through threats. Again, these are all allegations under investigation, but they explain why authorities treated this as a serious case rather than some online dispute. During the operation, 7 other individuals were removed from the residence and turned over to the local social welfare offices. That detail alone puts things into more of a perspective. These aren't just abstract numbers. These are very young women. Police believe the alleged activity may have been ongoing for about a year. They've also stated clearly that they are still investigating whether there may be more individuals involved. From my perspective, that tells you this case isn't going to be finished anytime soon. What we know now may not even be the full picture. And I think that's why it's important not to rush into conclusions, but also not to look away. This foreign national is currently being held at the anti-cybercrime group's custody facility in Camp Crane. For me personally, this story matters because it touches on something bigger than one individual or one case. It's about how online platforms, trust, and opportunity can intersect in ways that aren't always obvious at first. It's about how digital spaces don't exist separately from real life. They affect real people in real places, with real consequences, of course. And living in the Philippines as long as I have, I can tell you stories like this affect how communities feel and how trust is built, and of course how they see us as foreigners here. Not only that, but these things happen very often in this country, especially with people that are underage, and they happen way too often, and they happen way too often involving foreign nationals. So this is still an active investigation, guys, and it deserves to be handled responsibly. No exaggeration, no rumors, just verified information and thoughtful discussion from me to you guys. If you appreciate this kind of coverage, leave your thoughts respectfully in the comments down below and share this video so more people stay informed about misinformation. I'll keep following official updates as they are being released, and thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.